The New California Republic. As far as we know, the NCR is the largest and most successful post-war nation, spanning over 5 states, uniting several independent settlements and cities under one flag. However, their Mojave expansion efforts were met with some resistance from not only several independent factions like the Boomers, Great Khans, and Powder Gangers, but also a competing Roman Empire-inspired group known as Caesar's Legion. The two had already butted heads in 2277, resulting in the First Battle of Hoover Dam, where, after some cheeky tactics from NCR Ranger leader Chief Hanlon, the NCR managed to scrape out the win, securing the pre-war marvel and sending the Legion back across the Colorado River to their wartime base at Fortification Hill. Now, 4 years later, in 2281, the Legion are looking to make another push into the Mojave, with their first stop being the Hoover Dam. Uncertain of when and where this assault may commence, the NCR would set up many outposts to monitor, scout, and gather intel on the Legion's movements. Camp Guardian was one such outpost, and it was a massive failure. The beginning. The NCR was worried about Legion movements north of the fort. They already had outposts like Ranger Station Alpha and Camp Gulf set up to cover the east coast of Lake Mead, but nothing immediately to the north. Camp Guardian would solve that problem. Set to be atop Guardian Peak, the view from the mountains would provide the NCR with advance warning should the Legion attempt any northern operations. Camp Guardian began construction in October 2281, when the NCR sent out a survey team led by lead surveyor Burke. The survey team's job was to determine if the location was not only strategically viable, but also safe enough for a team to spend extended duration posted there. Unfortunately, even though the latter prerequisite was not met, Burke and the survey team greenlit the site for construction. This would be the first mistake of many when it came to the NCR's handlings of Camp Guardian. Construction. After the survey team deemed the location viable, a 12-personnel team was stationed at the post. Led by Sergeant Banner, their first goal was cleaning up the area and making it habitable for themselves. Good news, they had plenty of rations and nearby fresh water. Bad news, Camp Guardian was an absolute mess. Utter shambolics. Old hiking trails were buried in landslides, others were covered with so much debris that it was difficult to even just figure out where to go. Burke's survey team would certainly catch an earful the next time Banner saw them. But even still, the team was in good spirits, altering the former Guardian Peak sign to instead read Camp Guardian. Elevation really high, population 12-ish. By the end of the first week, many of the paths in the area were cleaned up of the debris. Even with only 12 people working, they were making quite a dent in the rundown area. And just their luck too, some old wooden shacks were found that could be dismantled for some scrap. But the first week may have also showed the first sign of danger. One night, Jackson thought he heard some howling. When he brought it up to his commanding officer, Sergeant Banner, Banner simply brushed it off as just the wind. This is another indication that the NCR really never had much of an idea what they were doing at Camp Guardian. Banner's team was never given a radio. I guess the idea was that if Camp Guardian saw any suspicious Legion movements, they were supposed to send a messenger to run to Ranger Station Bravo. It doesn't make much sense. What's the point of making a really high camp that also has almost immediate information about the enemy's movements if it's going to take hours to relay the message? But I digress. Week 2. The second week at Camp Guardian was met with more complaints about strange noises from Jackson. Banner once again believed that Jackson was just hearing things and was a little shaken from witnessing his last squad getting wiped out by a group of Legion slavers. Even still, doing his due diligence, Banner sent out a few troops to investigate the claims, but nothing ever turned up. Midway through the week, finally the entire path was cleared. The NCR squad repurposed some pre-war fencing to act as a barrier on the more dangerous cliffs. Whilst cleaning up and removing debris, to their surprise, the group found a few cave entrances. The damn survey team didn't mention any caves, Banner wrote in his daily log. Yet another mistake made. Nearly 2 full weeks into Camp Guardian's lifespan, and Banner's team still had yet to acquire a radio from Camp McCarran. On the plus side, Ranger Station Bravo let them borrow a handheld radio should Caesar's Legion make any movements. Private Halford would be in charge of the daily radio reports. The most shocking news thus far had come at the end of week 2. Jackson came screaming into the tent, claiming to have seen shadows crossing the river. These claims were almost immediately dismissed with the excuse that Legion troops can't swim that fast. Jackson was clearly losing it and not fit for Banner's team. A replacement for Jackson would be requested the moment they got an actual radio from McCarran. Week 3. The third week was met with news that was well overdue. After building a series of steps along the steeper sections of the path, Banner's team was now able to move the rest of their gear to the top of Guardian Peak. And finally, after 18 days, 2.5 weeks since the start of Camp Guardian's construction, McCarran had approved and delivered proper radio equipment for the team at Camp Guardian. Banner set up the radio at the peak of the mountain so that anyone on Overwatch duty could quickly call in any actions made by the Legion. The following day, Jackson's complaints were validated. During Banner's watch, splashes were heard in the waters below. In response, Banner requested a second survey team come by, and this time, fully cover the area and determine what that damned noise was. However, like many times over already, McCarran denied the request, claiming the team was just finally now feeling the nerves of being stationed long-term at the newly made camp. Seriously, McCarran? With this amount of incompetence and lack of urgency for these requests, it seems like the NCR wanted Camp Guardian to fail. Guardian Peak is an extremely tactical yet remote location to hold. Being able to see Fortification Hill and document Legion movements, patrols, who comes, who goes, seems extremely vital during wartime. Yet they can't be bothered to double check and ensure the location is safe. It doesn't make any sense to me. At night, Banner ordered half his squad to roam the shores with lamps to see if they could find anything. However, nothing came up. No legionaries, no new cave entrances, no big fish responsible for the splashing. Nothing. Maybe I've caught a little crazy from Jackson, Banner writes. Day 20 changed everything though. Collins came across a cave entrance that turns out was right behind their tent. Unsure of what would lie in the caves, Banner ordered Collins and Fracas to scout the area the following day, planning on detonating and collapsing the cave if necessary. Meanwhile, Banner would plan some harsh words for Burke and his survey team the next time he saw them, as this wasn't the first time they had glossed over important details. However, they wouldn't get the chance to do any of that, as that night the camp fell under siege. Not from the Legion though, from the creatures that inhabited the area, the things that the survey team never found. The Lake Lurks of Camp Guardian. The Lake Lurks attacked at night while some squad members slept. Private Halford was cleaning his firearm when the attacks began. As the beast took his fellow squadmates, Halford recorded a distress signal addressed to Ranger Station Bravo. After recording the call, he was knocked down and dragged into the caves. He managed to get his knife and throw it into the back of a Lake Lurk. Once the creature was on the ground, Halford would grapple with it, eventually suffocating it to death. However, Halford was injured in the scuffle, his leg cut up quite badly. He managed to drag himself to a fork in the cave, hoping it would provide enough cover from the other Lake Lurks and he could hide out until the ranger station could provide backup. However, unbeknownst to him, Bravo never received the distress call. Some time later. After having lost hope of ever seeing another person, Halford is discovered by the courier. After treating his wounds, clearing out the caves of the Lake Lurk threat, and recovering his comrades' dog tags, Halford, tired of NCR incompetence, decides to go AWOL, traveling west to California, leaving the brutal tragedy behind, but most likely, and unfortunately, carrying the trauma of the incident forever. And that's the tale of Camp Guardian, and what I consider to be one of the biggest failures of the New California Republic during their Mojave expansion. If you have any other video ideas you'd like me to cover, leave a comment. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.
Great. I'll start heading back to California now. I'm not about to let myself get killed by future NCR incompetence. If you find my friends, please return their dog tags to the NCR. People need to know what happened here. If they won't listen, do what you can to make them listen. The dead need to be avenged.